Everyone says the same thing about Chovy. He just farms, he just AFKs for CS. However, in this video, we're breaking down the real reason Chovy dominates, how he keeps his insane farm numbers while still roaming, pressuring the map, and making the right decisions. Today we'll look at the small tricks he uses in lane, how he times waves before moving, and how he balances efficiency with impact. Let's get into it. Chovy plays his level 1s really well every game he plays. Level 1 in mid lane matters a lot because if you win level 1, you're also gonna get level 2. Now, position in lane matters a lot, and it's something that Chovy puts a lot of attention to as well. He tries to walk far up in the lane, because if he gets this position level 1, he can hit the wave as it's coming in. Showmaker knows this, but now Chovy pivots into E-start on Aurora, which lets him outrange the Anivia. Now he gets sudden impact and Scorch proc off, getting some extra damage. Now Anivia forces him away, but look what Chovy does next. By walking right behind this melee, Anivia's position in the lane doesn't matter that much, because Anivia's advantage here is she can auto-attack the melee, right? But watch what Chovy does. He walks right behind it. So if Showmaker now commits into auto-attacking the melee, Chovy can just run him down. Because of Aurora's passive, Aurora is much stronger than Anivia in a long brawl. He also avoids the caster aggro by kiting downwards here, which we mentioned in our previous video. By extending this trade, he gets a final sudden impact proc as well with the Scorch plus sudden impact and E, and now he got a very nice extended trade on the Anivia level 1. Another example of Chovy trying to get an edge level 1 is his game Ryze vs Malzahar. Ryze's main advantage in this matchup is short cooldowns and having access to second wind. Second wind is extremely powerful when you're low on health. To get low on health, Chovy will permanently trade. He again goes for aggressive position in the lane, getting access to the wave already. Pulls it down here, making sure that this melee now ends up on his side. This means it's always easy to farm, and he can take aggressive position, getting mana flow band stacked already. He's now secured push, and the melees are on his side of the lane, so by doing this, he can keep this aggressive position while still being able to farm. And now, the trading begins. His E has 3.5 second cooldown, Malzahar E is 11, and Q is 6. If Malzahar goes for Q, it's harder to hit. If he goes for E, it's guaranteed damage, but it's very long CD. So if Ryze trades E for Malzahar E, it is not a good trade. Chovy knows this, so he extends the trade. Now Malzahar has a tough decision to make. Still being on cooldown, Chovy knows this, so he puts himself in aggressive position. Malzahar must farm minions to win a game of League of Legends, so Chovy trades again. If Malzahar now does E, he will need to farm this again. Chovy walks up once again, contests the creep. If Ryze gets to do 2 E's when Malzahar does 1 E, Ryze will be happy because now Malzahar is chugging potions, Ryze's second wind is beginning to tick, and he will get bonus health because of this, and he keeps fighting aggressively. If we play out the lane now, we will see that Ryze, purely from a sustained perspective, will be beating Malzahar together with his wave clear advantage too. Keeping in mind as well that Chovy really wants a 400 gold base, Showmaker does something really smart, pulls the cannon minion up whilst cancelling the base. If Showmaker did not do this one thing, Ryze would now be in base with Tear, teleporting back on the wave, and Malzahar would lose almost this entire wave just because of the bounce back. Position in lane matters a lot, and we will always see Chovy, when he arrives first in his lane, try to take really aggressive position. Showmaker is basing later than Chovy is, so Chovy will always step up far up in the lane to make it hard for enemy mid to now get into XP range. Cannon will now die, and enemy Anivia has a very tough choice to make. Do I just walk past the Aurora and lose all my health just so I can get XP off the cannon? Or do I now play for a trade myself, but then lose XP off the cannon? You see, he trades very efficient here, dodging the QW combo of Anivia, but keeps his E so that now he can do his combo, the Q2 part proccing Electrocute, and he gets the execute damage off, and Anivia lost the wave. Now he has a very good situation in lane already, but it all comes down to using the aggressive position in lane when he's first back. Now other champs like Orianna, LeBlanc, Cassiopeia, if your champion is really strong, this is very good to do. So another example of aggressive position in lane, Malzahar right now wants to push and base for chapter. Chovy knows this because Malzahar doesn't show on this wave. So he doesn't hard push, he just lets it slow push, and it takes aggressive position in the lane. By being in this position as a strong champion, you get to do a couple of things. You can trade with your opponent, but whilst this is happening there are creeps dying that Showmaker wants to get XP off of. If Showmaker takes a defensive position here, fighting the Ryze, he won't get level 5. If he walks up, he risks getting hit by Ryze Q, LeBlanc combo, Orianna QW, Syndra stun. You see that Showmaker continues wanting to walk back up to the lane. Ryze doesn't let him do it for free. You see he juggles the creep aggro really well. Once his minion dies, he's standing 500 units out of it. We talked about this in our previous video. Walks back up to the Malzahar and keeps fighting. This is all possible because of the aggressive position that we talk about when you first arrive to the lane. If he entered the lane with a defensive position, standing on his side, what would happen is Malzahar would walk up to the lane, press EWQ on the wave, and just crash it in and Ryze is under tower. Instead, he just plays aggressive position. Malzahar does not get to EWQ the wave, he's forced to trade with the Ryze, which ensures that Ryze keeps priority, making it so that Malzahar can't just lane for free. And you might be thinking that Ryze is going out of mana, but this is all good because it leads into plays like this. Now Mundo has no flash. If it went the other way around, where Ryze was playing with a defensive position in the lane, Malzahar would be the one pushing Ryze in with level 6 versus Ryze 5, and then Malzahar would be the one roaming to display. So two things that Chovy does really well in laning phase as well is how he plays around his rune timers. So cooldown of electrocute, bone plating, how he abuses his sustain through second wind and Doran shield. He thinks a lot about this when it comes down to laning phase. Right now he's playing Ahri versus Cassius. Very hard matchup for Ahri early because Cassius is really good in long sustained fights and can easily run Ahri down. Now Chovy knows this, so he opted into bone plating, which might sound weird against Cassio, right? But the way Chovy plays and threatens around this rune is really impressive. So right now, he can one-shot Cassio with an electrocute combo before Cassio can flash a spell, do QEE. Because the QEE would normally kill Ahri, but because of bone plating it will not. So Chovy knows this, walks up aggressively protecting his own casters. Now this plays into this next play. Now he gets to push out the lane, and in this difficult matchup where he will continue to get bullied as Ahri, he now gets to keep his teleport. If he is playing something like Orianna here, I'm sure he would teleport back and start to bully the Cassio. But as he's playing a difficult matchup, he's gonna need this teleport later in the lane, so he just opts into keeping it. This now means that he can just lane, lose 1 melee, but in the long run this will benefit him much more, because he'll be able to get bullied out and TP back later at 5 minutes, letting him get to 6 without griefing the game. Here's another example of Chovy using his bone plating timer really well. He gets his bone plating and Taste of Blood up, and we see, as he always does, he plays aggressively on this timing. If you now get hit by a Cassio Q, and you're playing defensively, you will not get value out of bone plating. But he opts into trading aggressively, so that the bone plating actually gets value even though he's against a ranged champion, gets his Taste of Blood proc off, gets a nice electrocute chunk. This is extremely winning trade for Ahri right now. She is up in sustain because of passive and refill potion, so now Cassio is the one that's in lethal on Ahri's next turn with ulti. So now, Chovy will slowly outsustain the Cassio, and he has an extremely winning trade, despite having bone plating against a ranged champ. Are you hardstruck and you feel like you can't do anything?
But bro, if Akali takes kills, I can't do anything!
Join my Ko-fi today and I'll watch the replay.
Please watch replay on stream.
So I want to showcase 2 examples where Chovy chooses to lose CS in favor of gaining tempo. Right now, some of you might stay for this wave, push this out and then base. The problem with doing that is that even though yes, he can in time push this, It will significantly hurt his tempo, and if enemy jungle ganks him, he will lose his ulti, which then will hurt this Drake, and right now this Drake matters more than the 2 CS that he might get extra by staying for one more wave. And this is again why this video is all about the misconception of Chovy, because people have this idea that Chovy now would stay here and push this wave. He would not. Now you see he loses some CS by doing this decision, but he will still end up having really good CS in this game, and now his tempo is good. Lost a creep, but he has good tempo. Because he plays League of Legends good, he's not some AFK robot that just farms. Another example of Chovy deciding to play for tempo rather than maximum amount of CS is right now. Malzahar is pushing the wave. Some of you, when you see this, might stop your base and go here and farm in their turret. But the reason why this can sometimes be bad is that in a case like this, where you have so little mana, if you decide to stay, you're not going to clear the wave very fast. And by the time you kill this wave as Ryze, this next wave will already be here. If you then base, you would lose 2 CS anyways on that next wave. By doing what Chovy did, he now lost 2 melees, yes, but he has much better tempo than Malzahar, who's now arriving in base, which he then turns this tempo advantage into a vision timer, removing Malzahar's ward, getting a pink ward down himself for grubs, and now has a choice to make. He can take aggressive position, he could one-shot this and go for a roam in a different game if he had ulti up, and he has a lot more freedom and control over the game. Whereas if he stayed, he would maybe get a creep or 2 extra, but he would lose his vision timer, he would lose potential roam timer, he would lose the timer to trade with Malzahar here if he wanted to, stuff like that. One of the most common misconceptions about Chovy is that he just farms well and he doesn't really group or make plays or fight. He just farms and that's it. But this couldn't be more wrong. You will see in this moment here, he gets mid push, and instead of going for plate or staying in his lane, he goes for roams. He roams a lot these days, and he still gets really good CS numbers because his CS comes from good side laning and good wave understanding and management of tempo. Now I want to showcase a specific mistake that he makes here that is very common for people in solo queue to do as well, and it's important to learn from. He now takes this wave, which is very good. You should always take the wave here when you roam to bot lane. The problem is, after this you need to decide, do I now lane mid lane, or do I just base and go mid? If you see that your mid wave is like this, you cannot go to mid after a roam, because after a roam you blew your CDs and you will have bad condition because your health and mana. So right now he sadly checks the mid wave way too late, whereas the habit should be that when he's clicking into river he should already know this wave is terrible. He now eventually recognizes that, hey, this is terrible. My wave is really bad. I can't stay mid. Because Cassio, if she's good, will freeze on him and not let him play because he has no ulti since he did a roam. So, slight mess up from Chovy, but as you can see, he does roam a lot. Wah, wah, I can't play like Chovy in solo queue, my teammates will flame me, I need to roam. Well, of course, Chovy roams as well. He gives up a full mid wave, runs to top lane from base to roam to top. You roaming 1 or 2 or 3 times in a game does not mean you need to have bad CS. He roams to top from base, doesn't farm the top wave, gives up a whole mid wave, and he's still having more CS than you would ever dream of. Once again, 1 more wave pushed, instantly roams, very efficient, does the roam, makes it straight back onto the cannon wave on mid, aggressive puff because he killed Jax and he sees enemy jungle, makes it for the mid wave, and did the top roam once again. Chovy is playing the entire map whilst farming extremely well. When it comes to side laning, this is where Chovy is extremely efficient and gets a lot of CS advantages usually. Right now, he's in a tough matchup 1v1, but Cassio is very vulnerable to getting ganked by Xin Zhao. Cassio currently does not have any vision, which Ahri is aware of because of how Cassio is playing. He steps forward in a losing matchup 1v1. Cassio now has to respect the Ahri. A mistake that Cassio made as well is, if we go 15 seconds back now, you will see Cassio starts to hit the wave as it's coming in. If you do this, you really want to one-shot this wave as Cassio, because now if the Ahri decides to test you and walk up on you, and Cassio runs away, this cannon wave will aggro onto Ahri's wave and it'll immediately die, making Cassio lose CS and Chovy's gaining CS. Ahri's jungler isn't actually even here, but he's just acting like Xin Zhao is right here next to him, and this now pushes the Cassio away. Now, next thing Chovy does, he just freezes this wave onto Showmaker, pulls the wave up, which we made a video about this before. Veigar does this a lot as well. Cassio is forced to recall for Merc's upgrade, and has now lost the full cannon wave, and lost most of this wave, making their CS now even, whereas before this, Ahri was down in CS. Something really important in the mid game and late game as a mid laner or top laner is which side lane do I choose to play on. Right now Sahin has no TP and Ryze has TP. So naturally, with Herald being up right now at 15 minutes, you really want to take over bot lane as Ryze. This way, Chovy can keep farming, whilst also having pressure, so he can win the game while still achieving high CS and good economy. If he was now to be top lane, then it's hard for him to use his teleport. By being bot, facing against the Jax who has no mercs, he can now continue to farm plates while still having the threat of, hey, I can always push and teleport to the top lane. Now he joins the top lane, wins this side of the map for his team, and now he just continues to farm topside. One of the things Chovy is best at is his TP usage. Right now both mids are basing, with Cassio having no TP and Ahri having TP. So he immediately looks to TP back on the map to make sure that he has vision before Drake. Drake is coming up in 2 minutes. By now catching this wave and immediately TPing on the map, he can get a blue trinket on this Phalite location, then get mid push with his tempo advantage to get a pink ward onto this push. This means that whatever play enemy decides to do now on the next timer, he will be aware of it. So TP's back, has tempo over Cassio because of his TP, gets this push going, blue trinkets this, pink wards this, and now Drake is up in a minute, and they have vision of Crab, they have vision of everything, and the game is so easy for him and his team to play, and so difficult for DK, because everything that DK decides to go for, Ahri's team will know. Another example of Chovy's expert usage of TP is, now he takes this bot wave. He's a little bit greedy, because Drake is spawning, but he makes up for this by now instantly teleporting to mid lane after his base to now regroup with his team. Now being Cassiopeia here, you have two options. Do I now go for the next wave, and then I risk Drake being gone before I'm even finished with the bot wave, or do I now move to here? If you choose to move and you don't push, you would be losing some CS, but you're also still late because Ahri is already arriving in mid lane. You see it TPs directly onto his team to help get mid prio, and now he's also able to move in together because Cassio is hard stuck here. If Cassio now was to push out bot lane, couple of bad things will happen for Cassio. Drake could get instantly one-shotted, or they could be using the mid prio to shift down to Cassio and one-shot her. Now, Chovy does end up messing up here and maybe goes for a bit too much here, trying to predict the flash of Yunara. Doesn't end up happening, but the concept is good. It's very good usage of TP. One of the largest reasons why Chovy consistently gets a lot of resources and good farm is because he doesn't do a lot of cope plays. What I mean by cope plays is plays that could potentially work, maybe they could. Right now, he has no ulti on Ahri. But there's a full-on teamfight happening in his official match. It's really important he wins this game. More important than even you winning a solo queue game. He doesn't TP, there is no cope plays. His teammates get caught, he always lets them deal with their problems, and he plays his own game. Despite the situation recovering, and him now getting ulti available, you see he still prefers to poke out this guy, deny his recall, gain tempo over Gwen, and still now he could push this wave, and after this, try to go for a TP play somewhere with his ulti. But you see, he doesn't bother with these cope plays, like maybe he could TP here, maybe he could TP flank this guy. He just pushes the guarantee play, gets a lot of CS through this entire play, and now he has a proper timer to actually go and play the game. We've all been there. Your team is a bunch of noobs, they don't give you vision on mid lane, an enemy roaming champion just gets prio. You can't easily follow because they could always turn on you and trap you with the Malzahar ulti. Chovy knows this, and is very smart about how he plays these sequences out. His jungler right now makes a play without him. In this situation, a lot of you will try to follow and help this play. The problem is, if he takes aggressive path to get there as fast as possible, they could turn on him and kill him. If he takes the defensive path, he is going to be extremely late. I have not seen Chovy follow a play like this. That is not how he plays. I don't play that way either. I always believe good luck to Pantheon if he wants to go here. Pantheon gave me no help. Right? Keep this in mind. Malzahar is being hovered by Mundo. Pantheon gave me no help, so I'm not gonna join this play. It is game losing to follow this play as Ryze. Instead, he makes his own play, pushes the mid wave, gets Malzahar's pink ward after the push, gets the plate, and now he gets a very good situation for himself. Yes, his team died on bot, and bot lane is in a terrible state, but there is not anything for Ryze to really do in this situation, other than to do what he did. And that's what truly makes Chovy one of the best mids in the world. Chovy isn't just AFK farming, he's maximizing every second on the map. Every click and decision has a purpose. Once you apply even a fraction of these concepts in your own games, your mid lane will feel completely different. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me which player you want me to cover next.